Stories some tomorrow. But what I've got here is Dimir Winternight Reanimator. Now, there's a few things in general. Like, one thing is graveyard hate is kind of low right now, and like there are some Leyline of the Voids, very, very few Rest in Peace, and you're not really that weak to like cards like Endurance, now Spellbomb. Obviously, they're good against you, but it's still just like not that hard. Like cast an Oculus, cast Winternight Stories as like a value card draw, bait the Graveyard Exile with the Winternight Stories, bounce Leyline with Sink into the Stupor. Usually, I'm really critical of Dimir or Grixis Reanimator decks because of how they line up against the interaction in the format. But I think that this build just ends up powering well through the graveyard hate that currently exists. But you know, of course, this is the kind of deck you could hate out. If you really wanted to. But I was really enjoying this build last night. Winternight Stories felt like it added a lot to the deck. Nice to have a card that you can Thought Scour over for some value. It was really good just to, of course, like draw 3 and Entomb and Archon of Oculus, or even just like going like cast Oculus, flashback Winternight. It's just so much card advantage. Was a big fan of it last night in the playtest, and let's get in there. Eight reanimate spells with 12 creatures seems a bit high/low, respectively. That's fine for your respect, thank you. But I think just we have with the Scours and the Stories and the Surveil lands, I think it's just kind of fine. You can cycle Unearth. Definitely kind of a high roll deck, but I think it's okay. Nice looking hand. I'll get the Moxfield and the title up to date. Just give me a second. I think we're taking the Blade here. This 4 Sink, 3 Sewers doesn't look as smooth mana base for a 2-color deck. I feel like it's totally fine, but thank you for your feedback. I'm closer to playing the 4th Sewers than the down to 2. I think we have our mana requirements met. Am I playing the Oblivion remaster? I played a little bit of it. I'm trying not to play too many video games without Esther because I think it's nice, you know, couple time. And so we downloaded that 33 game. I don't know what it's called. I downloaded it so we could maybe try playing that together. I've been enjoying what I've played of the Oblivion ring deck. The Oblivion. I'm adding the deck command. The Oblivion game. I'm typing the words deck and my brain says it. Okay, so they find a blade, they cast the blade. I'm going to be discarding Winternight Stories. Be scouring ourselves here. Next turn we can go Oculus plus Stories potentially. Uh-oh, that's I guess we got to get through those. Best possible top deck, I think. Okay, so if they go play Blade, equip Blade, yeah, the only way that they can combo off is if they drew a Ballista. But even then, their Blade, their thing would just be infinite power. We could maybe bounce it. So I think I'm just gonna have to go shields down here for this turn. We know their hand is. Wait, no, they have the Ballista. Sorry, I forgot we know they have the Ballista. Never mind. Your turn. How was the Winternight Steel Cutter deck? We were 7-3. Pretty solid. I think I'm pretty interested in continuing to work on it. So they're floating this Eldrazi mana, so yeah, I mean, I guess I'm responding or just letting them go to second main phase and then we sync. Pay out the non-believers when you can. Oh, that was for the trophy. Okay. So draw a card for turn. It's an Unearth. So we could go Unearth Oculus, Winternight Stories, and we find a land, we can hold up the sink still at the very least. So there's the land. So Unearth our Oculus. Flashback the stories. Return. You just lose if they had ballisted first. Well, I would just bounce in response to the equip, right? Or I guess they could have comboed off, but they would have had to have another payoff. Yeah. We have lethal in the air next turn, and us bouncing the brood scale in response to the equip should be enough to stop them from comboing off here. Right, they go blue scale, equip, and then they go. Maybe if they have a land. Because they go equip, 2 mana, play, equip. I guess they can combo off anyways, and if they have a payoff, they have a payoff. So their hand is Ballista, 2 mystery cards, right? They've already played the Forest. Nah, just stop adapt. Well, it doesn't really matter, right? You can respond to the adapt activation. I mean, so if they have a payoff at their hand besides Ballista, what they can do is Ballista on 0, I sink, they adapt in response. But of course, if they just adapt here, then we're good. Unless they have the protection spell. Great. If you kept Oculus, you could have bounced the blade and forced on the replay. I had to discard 2 cards. There was no way for me to keep up sync plus force there. Was it an argument bouncing the blade to player on protection then? Yeah, that might have been better then. Although then they get the token. They might have still been able to go off, actually. Yeah, because if we bounce the blade, they go make token, and they can play the blade. And they had one. I think they had enough mana to play equip and Ballista on 0. Maybe I'm misremembering. Isn't it Ballista another brood scale? It was Ballista mystery card. We already dealt with the other 2 brood scales. Might be good to play like 1 force still. I also don't know if Hurkyl's recall is good. Like the constructs are definitely kind of a problem, but like our Archons kind of go way over the top of them too. You did have to force the counter on the blade way back down, I think is the best argument for Battle Blades. Yeah, I'm telling you, I could not have discarded 2 cards to the stories, bounced the blade, and had another blue card and the land to play the sink and the blue card to pitch. That wasn't a viable line, unless I'm misunderstanding what line you're suggesting, which might be the case, obviously. Maybe the thirst just being sorcery speed is actually kind of bad. I think I'm going to believe that. I'm going to keep this hand. Sequencing is going to be kind of weird. We could just go to discard turn 1, discard the Archon. We could Thoughtseize. Kind of need a Surveil too. Just a lot of different ways we could do this. All right, let's just hold up Consign / Surveil turn 1. That's kind of bad. Yikes. Cavern of Souls. So my plan here is to consign the adapt. The biggest problem, of course, is that this is very face up. Do you think Winternight is better than Tainted Indulgence? Yeah, I think it's a lot better even. So if they have a Ballista, we lose, but there's always game 3. Oh, land. They'd have to have land Ballista. Like, just the ability to, like, mill over Winternight Stories for value has been really, really premium so far. It's like kind of better against Graveyard Hate too, where you get to like play it, flash it back, force Graveyard Hate to come out. I've enjoyed that dynamic in testing so far. All right, that was a very swingy game there. Well, keeping this. Opponents on the play. Yeah, the mid-series one is, I watched Gab play Blue-Red Cutter with Moxen and Ritomio package look good. Do you think that build or Mono Blue Urza is the best Moxen package currently? I mean, I was watching Gab play. I think it looked good. I can't really tell you without playing that kind of version myself. But yeah, I agree that it looked good on his stream today. Ooh, that heralds the end. I love that people just still try these versions despite like them never having performed very well. I think it's cool that they're still giving it an honest try here. Can I talk about how I landed on Hollow One for the Winternight Brew? I did talk about it at the beginning of the stream, and there's actually a link, I think, to the deck tech to cover that if you... Oh, that's a good top deck. If you're interested. So this is 8 this turn, and then they get to cast the Mycospawn next turn, right? I don't know why I clicked off the Mycospawn. So we're just kind of dead? Alright. Obviously we have some outs, but... not that many. So we need to either mill over a creature that can be unearthed and draw Unearth, or just draw Fatal Push. Wow. Let's go. Still not completely out of this, of course, but I think this keeps us alive. I think people just underestimate Eldrazi aggro. I'm definitely one that doesn't evaluate it very highly. I don't think it's very good, but I would love to hear more about, like, if you do think it's good, if you've been playing it, like, you know, what you like, why you think it's better than more normal Eldrazi. Like for me, I stopped thinking about this archetype once it became clear that the ramp version of Eldrazi just somewhat regularly cast Karn the Great Creator on turn 3. What is this? I guess we're still dead, huh? Because I discard my whole hand. I could discard my whole hand to block this, and I'd still be kind of toast. Go to 1. Yeah, okay, we'll just move on, I guess. Like, I don't know. I could be underrating it, but for me, just the fact that like you could just cast Emrakul so fast, like you're almost faster as the ramp version than the non-aggro version. But you're just like, your plan is just, you know, cast the big game-ending stuff instead of casting the little stuff, of course. So usually I want to be like cutting pushes and bringing in some Harbingers, but I think against this version, maybe we just keep in push and don't play Harbinger. Obviously the Fleshbreaker top deck was pretty nuts. Or the Linebreaker top deck. Like that curve of it that heralds the end into Linebreaker into another creature, like just does win on turn 3 sometimes. But you don't have very many good aggro curves besides that. It's like literally just that curve. You're going to keep 1 land double consigned. We have 21 lands in our deck. 4th Scours. I just talked about why I didn't bring in Harbinger. Okay. I think I was supposed to keep this. Although they do play a lot of caverns, so like I don't know. Okay, I'm going to say I have 24 good top decks counting the Scour, which is definitely a little bit weird to count them. 45% to draw land next turn, or land or Scour. I think we have to mulligan. Easy mull? I think it's not an easy mulligan, but I think it is a mulligan. A lot of graveyard hate in this hand. I'm going to take the Relic. Hopefully they can't devour into a double land. Our hand would have been pretty good against this. Oh, I guess they did have the Cavern. We could have countered Relic and countered K-Command, maybe? They do put 3 cards in the exile. The Chalice, a K-Command Devourer, so they probably have a land here. Hopefully it's not a double land. They play the Bog turn 1, though. I think try to high roll either Unearth or another Thoughtseize. Don't do that, but we do mill over Archon, so if they have the double land, then they can stop my Persist. If not, we can just Persist the Archon and probably go to game 3. I'm playing a lot of Pauper Burn, so my opinion has shifted to always mull one lander. Yeah, in Modern you keep a lot of one landers. Alright, no thought. Reanimate Archon. They discard the Devourer, which is kind of interesting. I would think that they'd want to try to play to this exiling the Archon. Yeah, also when you're playing in Modern Burn, you keep a lot of one land hands too. That's true. Kind of Winternight flooded. They discard the Mycospawn. I'm going to cast a Winternight Stories instead of just sinking here. Although maybe I should have played this untapped so that it was a bit more comfortable to Fatal Push the token, but it seems like we found the Fatal Push. Can you react to pre-game effects? The Devourer is a trigger. You can't react to like a Leyline. So you can't react to the Devourer being revealed, but you can react to the trigger of the getting to do the ability. So you could consign it in theory. I've ever seen anyone consign the Devourer start of game ability. I haven't. It's like, it doesn't really make any sense that you would ever want to do that. You would have to know what your opponent's hand is and know that that's good somehow. Seems pretty unlikely. Okay, that is a solution. For a moment. Notice you're not playing Counterspell, and I definitely agree with that. Can I tell us a bit more of my thoughts on Counterspell for this archetype? Well, this build is really proactive. You're playing a lot of spells with sorcery speed, so I think you just want to lead into Thoughtseize and Force instead as your interaction. I'm not someone to slander Thoughtseize, but I do think it's not very right for this archetype. Maybe I do want some Force on the draw against the Chalices and Relics. It's kind of weird. 3 is kind of a lot. But also moving away from Unearth I think makes sense because we're mostly just casting our creatures here. Not a great hand. If they mulligan, I'm pretty inclined to keep. They kept 7. I think we keep anyways. I think Oculuses are just pretty good against them, and this hand can cast Oculus fast enough, probably. I guess. So we're probably getting Stone Rain next turn unless we draw a Thoughtseize or Consign. Not quite lucky enough to mill an Archon into the yard there, I guess. So unfortunately, it's pretty likely our opponent's going to go kick Mycospawn, get Bajukabog. So you may just need to be finding something off the Scour to persist. Down to 9. Oh, no attacks, okay. Should have upkeep Scoured, it seems. Plays a basic forest. They have a spell. Uh-oh. Oh, there's Mycospawn? It is another Mycospawn, so I can Fatal Push one of their Mycospawns here. Hopefully they don't have a second Bajuka Bug. I think it's pretty unlikely they do. I've like never seen someone play two. This version of Eldrazi, the Harbingers are much more effective against. I actually just really disagree, but you might be right. But like, it does seem like it shuts them off really hard. But the problem is they're a line breaker build, and so I'm worried that like Harbinger is just like going to be too slow. Like I'm going to play Harbinger, and I'm just going to be kind of dead on board. Was my thinking for not bringing it in. But I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but that was my thought at least. They discarded Devourer of Destiny, so their last card must be another copy, right? So if I draw a fetch land, oh, it's Ugin. That's worse. Definitely worse. All right, GG. All right, 2 sewers, kind of awkward, but this hand is pretty good. Hopefully we just find another untapped land, or our first untapped land. Playing Hammer? Maybe just Affinity. So a Jeskai Ascendancy variant, probably. Would never consider Thoughtseize myself here to turn 2 Oculus. Well, I would definitely persist Archon instead of Oculus. To turn 2 Oculus, like, I would probably not Thoughtseize myself on turn 1 as often as I might Thoughtseize myself on turn 2 and go Thoughtseize plus Unearth in one fell swoop. I remember when like these Oculus decks first started to pop up, there were a lot of people unironically asking, is an Abhorrent Oculus more powerful than an Archon of Cruelty? And I'm here to tell you that Archon of Cruelty is still more powerful than Oculus. That was a question for the Game 2 vs. Tron, I see. All right, they have a turn 2 Jeskai Ascendancy cast here. And they're portable holing for the infinite combo. We are dead. Turn 2 killed by Jeskai Ascendancy. Pretty cool. Surprised to see Rona. I'm surprised. It kind of seems like people still just are refusing to try. They're refusing to try Narset in those builds. When I found Narset to be like your best card, or not your best card, but really really strong. Could bring in Needle. Kind of weak to portable. All these portable holes though. I think we'll just do this. What's the with portable hole? It's not with portable hole. It's just like the portable hole untap the Emery, so they can just replay either Bobble or Mox Amber, making their Emery infinitely big, and then they kill you. Yeah, they just go tap Emery, cast a 0, drop, untap Emery, give it a power toughness, do that until it's infinite power. Does Plague Engineer work the way you want it to against Steel Cutter? It stops the tokens if you get them down ahead of time, but if it usually won't kill the first token because it'll usually have one still attached, and then it'll also just die to all their lightning bolts. But if somehow you get it down before the Steel Cutter comes down, then it does stop everything. I've been playing the Narset version deck because Narset's been good against interactive decks, but awkward against more linear aggressive decks. I think that's about what you would expect for your grindy card. Although still, it's just like you just have a lot of games where you just empty your hand, turn 2, refill your hand, and I think that's always good. Yeah, Illness in the Rinks does it too. It's true. They still get to keep 1. They make 1 turn since save actions are only checked once the whole ability resolves. Oh, maybe you're right. I think I need to slow them down here. Nice, good draw. feel like Illness is such a great sideboard card right now. I mean, 1 mana, Pithing Needle, your Steel Cutters is kind of weird. Although it doesn't actually seem like it works if the state-based actions things is true. Okay, interesting that they don't play an Emery here. They have Rebuke up. So maybe I'll just hold up my Disputes so I can hit a Ascendancy too. It's good against Saga tokens. It's not good against Saga tokens. The Saga tokens are almost never 1/1s. And it also doesn't actually... It only seems like it stops the extra copies of your... I think they might Rebuke back, but I think that's kind of why you want to just fire this off. But yeah, like the Steel Cutter still gets to have a token equipped to it. Illness just flips your opponent's Ajani's. Yeah, so this is something I always wonder about Illness against Ajani. It flips the Ajani, but the Ajani doesn't do a lot. I guess it just ultimates, which could be a lot. But like the making of cats doesn't seem to do that much a lot of the time. My opponent says read Harmonize. It says wait, haha. I am confused. Maybe we should get push over Dispute since we're tapped out here. Okay, weird. So they float a blue, so their Mox Opal taps for mana. They bobble themselves. They repeal the Mox Opal. I feel like they should have done that before bobbling, maybe? Okay, so here we get to go Oculus into Winternight Stories. Although maybe they have a counterspell. Okay. Discard an Oculus, hold up Dispute. So it has Mox Opal Mystery card. Do I know any songs on the piano? Not since I was a little kid. This is Esther's piano. Okay, so punish the sequencing. I guess we'll take the Opal. Why does Repeal see play in these kind of combo decks? People like it. Like, it helps you flip Tamio really fast sometimes. It also kind of doubles as a protection spell, can bounce lock pieces. It's kind of like classic tech to some extent. You know what I mean? Like people have historically played Repeal in these kind of decks over the years. It might be good. So no Savine's Wreck because they didn't fetch for a Surveil land, although maybe they're only playing one Surveil land, which would probably be a mistake. But yeah, Esther plays the piano all the time. She's been learning for over a year now. Jerry 2 is talking up against Cutter. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I think this hand's going to be too slow for me on the draw. Do we not want to manifest the Archon in case you draw Persist? Much likely less... I mean, in that spot we could win either way, and I kind of thought manifesting the Archon is fun. But yeah, probably better to have it in the yard there. Been thinking about putting Paradise Mantle and Jeskai Ascendancy like the good old days. Yeah, it might be good. Alright, let's put back an Archon here. What happened with the streaming room? I remember you mentioned it might be ready soon. Well, I went out of town this weekend, and like always in every aspect of my life, I'm always like saying that I'm gonna get this done. This is my goal, and I always over goal so that I can push myself as much as I can for whatever that's worth. I do it pretty intentionally. like say what I want to do out loud, and even if I don't get it done, it makes me work harder on it. But as far as the streaming room goes, we've painted it, we've ripped up the carpet, I've cleaned up the room, I took out the tack strips, we bought the floors, and I need to decide if I'm going to be installing those floors myself or if I'm going to be hiring someone. And I'm a little daunted. I'm not sure I can get it done myself. I still want to try. It's just kind of satisfying to, like, me and Esther did everything in this room, although we didn't have to do the floors, and it just feels better being in the room that you did yourself, I think. As someone who never put down floor and tried to do it, I'd hire someone. Yeah, like the reason why I want to do it is just for the satisfaction of doing it myself, not because not really to save time or money so much. I just want to see if I can do it. I'm going to respond to the surveil trigger so I don't mill over both my surveil lands somehow. So there's a fatal push. Oh, I guess I get punished for this by milling over the fatal push because now I can't snipe this. Although we can go graveyard this and just cast an Oculus, hold up force, maybe 2 forces. Just 1 force, that's okay. Do you have to exile the Winternight Stories in the yard though? So I manifest an Oculus and put an Archon in the yard is pretty good. Yeah, the room is very small. The room is very small. It's the smallest room in the house, so I think I can do it. But it'll just feel good to, like, you know, walking on those floors every day and be like, I put those in there. No, there's a big learning curve with floors. I did 3 rooms last year and I was very unsatisfied with the job I did. Should have paid someone. Okay, that is good feedback. That is good feedback. I'll think about it some more. I think this afternoon I'm going to decide after watching some more videos to see if I want to really commit or hire somebody. Hit up Caleb. Yeah, no, Caleb's been doing a lot of outdoor projects. So my opponent goes retracts and helix on the construct token. So they're just going to bounce my Archon. So my Oculus, I think that's okay because I just have another Oculus here, right? And obviously I don't want to lose to my opponent having a Jeskai Ascendancy. Take your time making it level. We did it now, it's like a haunted house. That's good feedback. Yeah, I got laminate floor. Guess now I have double force up. Yeah, we've talked a little bit about Winternight and Sneaky Snacker. I kind of Snacker is it just like a tapped 2/1 flyer is like just a blank. It's just blank almost. It's so useless. You can't do anything with it. Unfortunately, like all you can do is sack it to flares, which isn't the worst. Oh, they're targeting the Opal? Okay, getting Tamio down, I see. So if I draw a land... Okay, hold on. Another Opal? Is it like repeal to try to flip the Tamio, or... Okay. Okay, I don't know why they cast that other Opal. Okay, it seems like this turn I probably just want to go Thoughtseize, push the Tamio, hold up Dispute. Although the Oculus being able to like kill the Tamio down the line does feel kind of nice. So they repeal my manifest, which, guess this was bad. I didn't think that they would target this for some reason, but maybe I should have realized it. Just going to try to save the force for a Jeskai Ascendancy. So they have this Tormod's Crypt in play, so this Persist for Archon is not a potential slam dunk. What did it attack first? Because maybe they would repeal X equals 0 again. Kind of a wishful thinking. What about letting repeal resolve and taking whatever they draw? Well, then we don't have this Archon, or sorry, this Oculus in play, which I think it's important to have this because they have the Tormod's Crypt to stop my Reanimator plan. So this is kind of the plan against these kind of cards, is you just put some Oculuses into play and stuff. Maybe make them use it against a Winternight Stories. And yeah, I don't know. We might. Let's get to 8 mana and put this up. Probably not very likely. My opponent says ups. Oops, perhaps. I guess just not getting the info off the bobble, maybe. Would Hollowvine Shadow Knight be a reasonable deck, you think? I just don't put Death Shadow in your deck probably, and you'll win more. This just seems to be a trend. Like you're just playing black mana for no reason. I guess there's some overlap with Street Wraith, but I don't think there's a lot of correlation right now between putting Death Shadow in your deck and winning matches of Magic the Gathering. I did forget about negative correlation. So they get the bobble again. Then they tap for blue. Then they Retraction Helix their Construct. This is kind of a pain, but I can just replay the Oculus, so I think I let it go. And if they pop the Crypt to stop me from replaying the Oculus, then I can cast the Winternight Stories and maybe set up to Persist the Oculus next turn, which is also just okay. Okay, yeah, I think. Although I guess I have to force the Crypt on the backswing if I don't somehow get rid of this. I'm playing a Black-Red Shadow Last Ride TBR Thud deck. I would not recommend probably putting Thud or TBR in your deck, but we built that archetype on you can see how we would build it already by looking in the Mox field. So I only have 2 Archons left now. Okay, so I'm going to go force the Tormod's Crypt, pitching the Oculus, and then I can go Persist, flashback Winternight Stories, unless I surveil Archon into the yard. Uh-oh. Damn it. Four, 5. The opponent's draw has been pretty good. Come on, big money. Dang, I don't have another Surveil land either. Good match, tough match. Lost in 3. I think this will be a good stopping point for today. Again, like I said, I'm going to be working on the stream room a little bit. Going to mess around with the hard floors, try to get it done today. And then we'll try to go a little bit longer today to make up for the shorter streams today and yesterday, but still kind of recovering too from travel, resting up.